with all of the negativity that's been spread around about the Buccaneers the past, I don't know, give or take month and a half, I wanted to look more at the positives that have been uh, apparent, I guess you could say, for the Buccaneers 2017 season, 2017-2018 season. Now I get it. I am one of the people who have criticized the Buccaneers most. The past, like, 6 videos I've made have been about nothing but criticizing criticizing the Bucks. I'm one of the Bucks' biggest criticizers in terms of making videos on YouTube or whatever. I don't know why I'm using quotations, but in terms of criticizing the Bucks, I'm right up there with everybody else. This team deserves to be criticized, and it's really getting criticized, guys. We're saying everything from firing Mike Smith to Dirk Cutter to hiring John Gruden to getting rid of Jason Light to not starting Jameis Winston anymore, to starting Ryan Fitzpatrick over Jameis Winston, to getting rid of Doug Martin, to getting rid of Chris Conte. But I mean, that one's not new. To getting rid of Vernon Hargreaves and Ryan Smith, to trading away Gerald McCoy. A lot of people have been saying that. Getting rid of Chris Baker, getting rid of our defensive line, for basically just gutting everything, and some of those I agree with, some of those I don't agree with, but I want to take a look today at the positives that have been apparent with the Buccaneers this season. Show off some things that were good this year. I know most of it doesn't matter. In fact, a big chunk of it doesn't matter. But I figure I want to look at it anyway, just to maybe give us some hope for next season, and maybe give a glimpse of what can be good next season for the Buccaneers. So starting off here, I have a list. Levante David and Kendall Beckwith. Now, Kendall Beckwith has been a nice surprise at the rookie linebacker position. He's really been able to make plays, not only in the running game but in the passing game as well. He's really good at the run game specifically. He's been able to hit the holes well, and hit them. He has great timing, and he has great ability to just move around the field. He's very rangy, very fast, very quick. He was a very good pickup in the 4th round, and him and Quan and Levante David all together, that's really going to be shaping up to be one of the better linebacking cores in the NFL. Like, that's something to look forward to. Levante David isn't that old. I believe he's only 27 or 28. So these guys are still young enough to where they can really make it work. And speaking of Levante David, he is playing out of his mind this year. He really is. Like, it's pretty crazy how much Levante David is, like, just making plays. He's doing good in the run game, forcing fumbles, recovering fumbles. I don't know if he's gotten a lot of interceptions this year, to be honest with you, but he's everywhere. He's always making tackles. He's literally everywhere. Like, it's kind of disgusting. Like, he's hauling butt on run plays. He's covering well in pass plays, as he's always done. And Levante David's a really special guy. He's ranked number 2 in terms of linebackers for Pro Football Focus this year, behind, I believe, Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner, he's a whole nother story, but Levante David's playing out of his mind, and Kendall Beckwith's been a very pleasant surprise at the linebacker's position, especially for a 4th round pick. Like, our linebacking core is going to be good for at least 4 more years, in my opinion. But now moving to the defensive line. Now, these first couple of notes here are going to be about the defense, and then I'm going to switch to more offense and special teams. But our defensive line, I know, you can't get pressure. We're not getting pressure. Edge rushers don't get pressure, and I get that. I really do. There's not an edge rusher on here that's a positive note, maybe except for Robert Ayers sometimes, but not exactly in the pass rush, but in terms of run plays. But Gerald McCoy and Clinton McDonald have really been trying to get this pass rush to be there, okay? Clinton McDonald obviously has a back injury now. He can't play anymore. I don't know the severity of the injury, but he's really been good in terms of a piece next to Gerald McCoy. And Gerald McCoy, he's just like Levante. Him and Levante, I don't know if they get together every week and say, hey, we've got to literally kill ourselves out on the field, otherwise we're not even going to have a chance of winning. I don't know if they have those conversations or not, but Gerald McCoy is also just, he's playing angrier this year. He's just playing mad. He's going out there, he's just destroying guys. It's actually disgusting. He's opening up holes to the linebackers to get into. He's really playing well, and I get it. He's not getting sacked, so who cares? yes, he's not getting sacks, obviously, but I mean, that's not his main job, you know? His main job isn't to get sacks. That's the edge rusher's job. You know, he's a defensive lineman. He's supposed to help stop the run, and he's supposed to obviously help create pressure. He's not the main source of pressure necessarily, but he's doing his job very well this year. I'm very impressed with him and Clint McDonald. Clint McDonald, if they could honestly just, if they fix Chris Baker, our interior defensive line would be very solid. Again, Gerald McCoy isn't that old. I believe he's 28, 29. Clint McDonald, he's up there in age now. I believe he's 31. But, I mean, if they can get a solid piece next to Gerald McCoy after whatever Clint McDonald decides he wants to do with his career, be it retire or not re-sign or whatever, Bucks, at least the interior defensive line is going to be looking pretty good. Moving on now to the secondary. Now, there's not a lot here. There's not. You got Brent Grimes and you got Justin Evans. That's it for me. That's it. Brent Grimes obviously has been kind of injured for a decent chunk of the season. He hasn't had the best time in terms of injuries. He's been injured all throughout the preseason and through certain bits of the season this year. But when he's been able to play, he's still been playing at a very high level, and it's showing. He's been the ageless wonder, so to speak. He's been playing very well. Very good at what he does, obviously. He's doing his job very well, and he's covering for most of the mistakes. Not most of them, but he's trying his darndest to help this secondary do something, you know. I wouldn't want to see what our defense would look like if we had just just Ryan Smith and Vernon Hargraves and Robert McClain, and that's it. Brent Grimes was gone. Like, if we didn't have Brent Grimes on the team, oh, it would be really ugly. It'd be really ugly. It would be bad. Like, Brent Grimes is not single-handedly, but Brent Grimes is really dragging this secondary along, and he's having a little bit of help from Justin Evans. Like I said with Kendall Beckwith, a very pleasant surprise. When Justin Evans was initially picked in the second round, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never heard of Justin Evans. I don't really pay attention to draft prospects anyway, but Justin Evans was a big miss for me. I wanted Obi Melifonwu, who did go to the Oakland Raiders. You haven't really heard a lot of him. I mean, granted, I'm not in the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not in the Las Vegas Raiders circles, but he hasn't been getting a lot of national media exposure. Neither is Justin Evans, but just from what I've seen in the games, Justin Evans he's been very good. He's got a couple of interceptions under his belt. He's trying his darndest to cover people, but if you go one-on-one against Julio Jones in the end zone, that's not gonna be fun. And I get that, you know, the Bucks cornerbacks had problems with Julio Jones too. That does need to be addressed. Ryan Smith, one-on-one versus Julio Jones. What are you doing, Mike Smith? But Justin Evans has been a pleasant surprise. He seems to have a good nose for the ball. He seems to be able to hit hard in the run game and make plays in the run game. Very pleasant surprise for the second-round pick. I know, obviously, a second-round pick, there's higher expectations, but I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting him to be in a backup role behind J.J. Wilcox, remember that guy, behind Keith Tandy, behind begrudgingly Chris Conti. You know, I expected him to kind of be like that fourth cornerback if we were to rotate cornerbacks, and oh boy, we were rotating cornerbacks. But Justin Evans has been playing well, and I believe he deserves more playing time in these last few games. I believe he deserves a chance to really just be that solid starter, be it next to TJ Ward or Chris Conti. Not Chris Conti, please. A lot of people are saying Chris Conti's underrated, and I'm going to be making a whole, I don't know if you guys want me to, but I can make a whole separate video about Chris Conti down the pipe. But no, just start Justin Evans and TJ Ward. That's all I want. You know, or Keith Tandy and Justin Evans. We haven't heard anything of Keith Tandy. Is he still injured? I have no idea. But moving on to the offense here, our wide receivers, Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, they're doing okay. I don't think they'll reach 1,000 yards this year. They might not. Well, 5 games left. They're both at, I believe, 700 yards apiece. They'll more than likely reach 1,000 yards. Sorry, they'll both reach 1,000 yards, so that's a positive. But another thing I want to look at is our tight ends. Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard. They've been playing very well, all things considered. The fact that they're 2 tight ends splitting time. Cameron Brate's still a monster. Really one of the most underrated tight ends in the NFL. And O.J. Howard, when he's been able to play and they let him really get some good plays in, he's really been doing good. He's been getting long catches, long touchdown catches, and it's really nice. It's really nice to see. Those 2 tight ends are a pretty dangerous combo. The one thing I'm worried about with these two is now that OJ's here and Cameron Brate's contract is up at the end of the year, we might not re-sign Cameron Brate, and that would be a mistake. We really, really should keep Cameron Brate on this roster. We just should. We really should. Another guy I guess you could just package in there. Just package in Adam Humphries too. He's not having a good season. Actually, you know what? I'll save that for later. But Cameron Brate and OJ Howard, maybe the best two tight end combo in the they're not the best two tight end combo in the NFL. Whoever you pair up with like Gronk is the best one. But Gronk and Martellus Bennett, even though Martellus Bennett's a snake, but Cameron Brate and OJ Howard, they're pretty good together, and I really, really, really hope we can keep both of them. Like, I really hope we can. If Jason Light ever watches these videos, if there's one thing he should ever learn from these videos, it's that I like Cameron Brate, and they should probably keep him. Another positive note on the offense, though, is that with our offensive line, and I know what you're going to say is, James, what? Our offensive line is literally the worst thing in the world. And you're right. It's pretty bad. But, DeMar Dodson and Ali Marpet have been playing phenomenal. They've been playing really good. DeMar Dodson's one of the best tackles in the NFL right now, according to Pro Football Focus. And Ali Marpet's one of the best centers in the NFL, one of the best centers in the NFL. They both rank in the top 10. I believe DeMar Dodson even ranks in the top 2 or 3. So that's really good. I'm so happy that we were able to re-sign DeMar Dodson. I know he held out on a contract. I believe it was last season or the season before. I'm so happy we were able to get him on a deal. He's never been the problem with the offensive line. And Ali Marpet, what a great small college find from Hobart, I believe it was. You can put him anywhere. Right guard, he's great. Center, he's great. Like, these two are maybe not as much DeMar Dodson, considering he's 31, but if DeMar Dodson stays around until, let's say, he's 37, and I know that is a stretch. Joe Thomas is playing right now. He's 37. I know that's a stretch, but if those two can stay, and we can keep them, they're going to be anchors of our offensive line for the next handful of years. And if we can build around those two, then we can have a good offensive line. That's a fact. The next positive, hey, I know we're 4-7, and we might. A lot of people are saying we might finish 5-11 or 6-10. High draft pick, right? High draft picks aren't bad. We can use that draft pick to get an edge rusher. I think his name was Bradley Chubb, is what I was seeing. Or we can get a running back. I know people were saying Saquon Barkley. I don't know. Well, I mean, or we could get a quarterback. We're not going to get a quarterback, but I really like Baker Mayfield. I just want Baker Mayfield to be happy because he's really funny. We're not going to get Baker Mayfield. You know, hey, we could also get cornerbacks. I don't know what cornerbacks are out there. I'm going to have to take time and look into that. But that's like that. Those types of videos are months away. But high draft pick though, right? And I know it's like, oh well, you know, that just means we suck. Well, if we're already 4-7 right now, then what's the point of trying to? I mean, yes, there is a point of trying to win just for pride and integrity's sake. But I mean, like, if we end up getting a high draft pick, can you guys really complain? Like, I know the season sucks, but just be happy that we're gonna get a really nice player. You know, that's a silver lining there. The next thing is Patrick Murray, Brian Anger, and Bernard Reedy. And I know Bernard Reedy is not on the team anymore, and he probably won't even be. He might not even be on the team when the season's over. I think he will be, but still. Brian Anger's still one of the best punters in football, even though Pat McAfee doesn't think he's for the brand. I don't know if he doesn't think he's for the brand, but Pat McAfee, for some reason, doesn't like Brian Anger. He's like my go-to guy on punters, so I don't know. But Brian Anger's still pretty good. I'm glad that we have him on the team. He's definitely better than the punters we had before, Michael Keenan, Patrick Shum. Patrick Shum wasn't that bad, but he's better than Michael Keenan and Patrick Shum. And he's really good. I'm happy we have him. And Patrick Murray is a godsend, okay? He's made, I believe, it's either 10 for 12 of his field goals or 12 for 14 of his field goals. Let me give you guys some context here. It's felt like a good amount of time since Nick Folk has been here, right? And Roberto Aguilar. It feels like it's been like a season or two, right? That's what it feels like to me, at least. This whole debacle with Nick Folk happened in October. It was early October, but that's how, like, short amount of time it's been. And we've only been away from Nick Folk for, like, a month. Like, barely. Isn't that, like, really weird to think about? And Aguayo, it's only been, like, 2 months. That's, like, really weird to think about, you know? It feels like it's been forever. But I'm happy. I told you guys, I made this big, long video about the Bucs kicker, and I said one of the guys that we could bring back would be Patrick Murray, and we brought back Patrick Murray. Thank you, Jason Light, because we never should have gotten rid of him. Or Connor Barth, for that matter. I remember I thought, I was like, well, if we're going to sign one guy, it's either going to be Patrick Murray or Connor Barth. And it was Patrick Murray, and I'm happy we have him back because guess what, guys? He's actually not bad at kicking field goals. Crazy, I know. I think he's the guy to break the Bucs kicker's curse. I really think he's that guy who can break that curse. Watch the next 5 games. He misses like 6 field goals and we end up cutting him. But hey, whatever. I believe in Patrick Murray right now. I'm fine with that. And Bernard Reedy, he was really good in the return game. I really don't know why we cut him. He was given like explosiveness and like really good returns. He was probably the best return guy we've had in a while. I don't really know why we got rid of him, but I expect him to be back on the roster soon anyway, unless they decide to roll with Bobo Wilson, which I know they just promoted to the active roster, which is whatever. They'll probably have him return kicks, but I can honestly see a situation where they get rid of Jesus, Bobo Wilson, bring back Bernard Reedy, and have him return kicks and punts again, because he's earned it. He's like not bad. Although I do believe he's on the Patriots practice squad right now, so we'd have to sign him away from that, but it would all go over smoothly. And then finally, the final guy, Maurice Fleming. He's on the practice squad. There's like no reason. I mean, I just remember him from Hard Knocks, and I love him. And he said he's back with the Bucs today, and I put hashtag the return is real, and I'm very happy for him. So just that's like my own little personal one is Maurice Fleming. Glad to have you back. Hope you can actually get promoted to the active roster and start, you know, helping out this this secondary. But name some positives, guys. Name some positives that you have for the team down in the comment section below. I know there's a lot of negativity. I know there's a lot of negativity with this team, and I get it. We're not doing good. Expectations were shattered. I get that. But let's try and look on some silver linings, I guess, and maybe look to the future. One thing left to mention is Adam Humphries and Chris Godwin. Yes, they're like very much splitting time, but they're not looking bad, and I hope we can keep both of them as well, although it will probably be unlikely with Adam Humphries, but still, I like both of them, and I hope we can keep them on the team. But let me know some positives, what you guys have for the Buccaneers down in the comment section below. I'd love to talk with you guys about it, and as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video, and until then, goodbye for now, guys.